Now please welcome Jošt Derlink, who will talk about how public libraries are expanding into libraries of things. Jošt Derlink joined the Library of Things in Ljubljana 1 year after its founding, and for the past 5 years he has been the head of this organization.
Nadaljevali bomo s predstavitvijo Gospa Bovary in vrtalnik pod eno streho, širitev splošnih knjižnic s knjižnicami reči. Predaval bo Jošt Derlink, ki se je knjižnici reči v Ljubljani pridružil 1 leto po njeni ustanovitvi, zdaj pa je že 5. leto njen vodja.
Good morning. First, I'd like to thank you, Franceta Public Library, for inviting me to this conference. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to explain this mouthful of name of the presentation, which I'm not even gonna repeat myself, but I am going to point out that today is 15th of May, and we're just about 2 weeks shy from celebrating 1 year anniversary of Library of Things in Nova Gorica. So Public Library of Nova Gorica became the 2nd library in Slovenia where you actually can borrow Madame Bovary and the drill under the same roof. Whenever I start to talk about Library of Things, I like to focus on this beautiful item, a beautiful cordless drill. Isn't it amazing? Green, of course. I don't know if you know that, but according to some research, in an average household, this item is used for only 15 minutes per year, which is a shame if you think about it. You spend what, like 200 euros for it, 300 euros? Okay. 300 euros for it? Okay, I need a microphone. Okay. So it's a shame that you spend 200, 300 euros for an item which then just spends most of the year on a shelf using a lot of precious storage space. But that's not the only tragedy about it. The second bigger tragedy is that this item, which weighs approximately 2 kilograms, also contains a lot of resources such as metals, which we as all know are not limitless. And it's also a cause for 50 kilograms of waste, which is produced during the production, the whole process of production, and 10 kilograms of emissions of CO2. And now if we multiply those numbers with the number of households in, I don't know, Nova Gorica, Slovenia, Europe, we quickly realize that we really do need to think about some alternatives, how we can use our limited resources, but not in a way that we would lower our standard of living, but maybe actually even increase it. That was the idea behind opening our Library of Things in Ljubljana, which celebrated 10 years this January. So we decided to offer it as a new form of, let's say, community service, where people can have, like from personal experience, see what are the positive benefits of sharing economy. So of course for the users this is mostly saving time, money and space, but that brings also bigger benefits for us as a society, as we are more responsible with using our limited resources, and we also produce less waste. So we shamelessly use the name of library, even though we're not renting out books. But we decided to keep to use the name Library of Things because I think that there's a lot of parallels between the ideology of a conventional library and our Library of Things. So our philosophy is that we need to be as easily accessible for broader community, which can easily borrow items at our premises in different methods. So for example, like by just paying yearly membership, by paying a non-profitable symbolic fee, or even just by, which is of course a bit different, from public libraries, actually people can just get our membership just by volunteering or even just with donating an item from our wish list. Here you can see a list of some of the most borrowed items. As you can see, they're really the items we use maybe once or twice per year. And I have to say that like in the last 10 years, the number of people in Ljubljana has risen, like the number of people who see a positive impact of such a service. We of course use our space also as a community space, so we don't lend out only items but also space, which is quite complementary with the fact that they can also use the items from our library, which opens a lot of possibilities to host different workshops, different cultural events, social events. All of them are free of, everybody can use the space free of charge. The only rule is that they are also free of charge for the visitors, so that anybody can join. In the last, let's say, 3 or 4 years, we started to expand our basic service from renting out items also to repairing items and swapping used electronics. In this way, we're trying to figure out how can we use our space of Library of Things not just as a library of things, but in a broader sense as a center for sustainable habits. Last year we started this repair shop, which is at the moment specialized only for electronic appliances. When we started with it, we weren't really sure how people will respond, but we said, okay, it's fine, because even if we will have some events that are not that crowded, we have some items from our libraries which are waiting for maintenance. And I'm happy to say that in about 1 year since we started, we maybe had time to fix one of our items because it's always packed with other visitors. In the last 10 years, the network of libraries of things started to spread. Maybe I forgot to mention at the beginning that it's also like not our idea. We borrowed it from Berlin. The library in Berlin opened in 2010. Our library opened in 2015. And in the last 10 years, the movement has spread quite a lot, not just across Europe, but also across Slovenia. And here you can see some of the examples of cooperation, like in which framework new libraries of things have started to open. Even though we have celebrated 10 years, I still see in our library as a pilot project. I can honestly say that our current financial model is not sustainable. We mostly cover our expenses through different grants. We don't have any long-term secure funding. We don't want to higher the prices of loans because that's not the actual point of it. And we want to help others to figure out how can we develop libraries of things within their premises in a way that it can be long-term financially sustainable. And for the last 5 years, I've been talking that one of the most practical things would be to start departments with things within the public libraries. But you can also see that there are some other possibilities. We also wrote a couple of handbooks which can help others to start such a library. And now I'm just going to focus on the one that, of course, is in the focus today. So libraries of things plus public libraries. You can see what are some reasons why this makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to point out the most obvious one. Public libraries already have their own infrastructure, meaning in a way of loaning platforms, different terms of uses, already quite big network of members, which makes it quite easy for the implementation. So at the moment there are 2 libraries of things working within the public library in Slovenia. I already mentioned Nova Gorica, and the first one was in Public Library Miran Jarc in Novo Mesto. And I will explain in simplified 5 steps, like what are the first steps to start such a library. Of course, the first part is to do the research. What are actually the items with potential to be borrowed in your city, neighborhood? So, of course, in many cases, the top items will be similar, a lot of electric tools, like video projector, stuff like that, but you can see some variables from location to location, so it's always great to first do the research, which is also kind of the first promotion that such a service is gonna start in your location. I also recommend doing the second research, which is why would somebody like to borrow things in your library, and also why wouldn't they want to borrow it. It will help a lot to prepare further steps. The second step is to figure out how will be, what kind of system will you use for, let's say, for loans. Here I put the beautiful picture from Kobe's, which I'm really happy to see that there are items now in the system which is otherwise used just for books. The second part is also like to define what are the exact terms of use. For Slovenia, we have now prepared, in cooperation with Nova Gorica and Novo Mesto, the terms of use which can also be shared with others. And the third part is like how will we cover maintenance costs? Because of course we want to develop a system which is still non-profitable, but that we will get enough funds for like the costs of maintenance, so repairing items, reserve parts, and so on. The third step is to figure out the space. So will you have the library of things publicly visible, or will you have it in a storage unit? In this case, in Nova Gorica, you will see that Library of Things is a part of Makerspace. Yeah, so everybody can actually come to see the items. They can like just pick them up at the location. While in Novo Mesto, they have it in a storage unit, so you have to reserve it in advance. And it's also like when you know about the space, you also have to know who will manage the loans. It will be like all the staff of the library or one specific person. The four things are of course, the first step is of course things. So how will you get the items? Will you have like, will you invite the members of your community to donate their items? Will you try to get some donations from companies, or do you have some funds that you can use for purchasing items? And it's also important to think about which models will you buy, because it's always great to buy items that can be afterwards repaired many times. You have to think about it, that this is library of things, that different people will use it, maybe some people that don't have so many experiences with it. So in our case, we decided to, like for example of electric tools, we buy them from the same brand so that we know that we can always buy new parts, new batteries, and so on. Because that's also part of the sustainability, to think about repairing in the future. And the last step is spreading the word. So who do you want to reach? How will you reach them? What will be the identity of the library? Here I have some examples from Nova Gorica. The upper picture is from the opening of the library, where we had just like a laminate stand with the citrus squeezer from the Library of Things, which was a nice way of showing people, like the visitors of public library, that the Library of Things now started to work. And the lower picture is actually from our research period, when we were asking people to answer our survey, and in exchange they got a portion of fries, which I think that public library, like, I was kind of nervous about it, making fries in the entrance hall of the library, which then smelled like fries for the whole day, and I would like just like a round of applause again for the public library of Nova Gorica. Yeah. And yeah, I think that that's it for now. I'm gonna be here all day. I'm sorry for like jumping around during this presentation. I'm still a bit tired from the exercise, which was exactly after my morning cigarette. Anyways, as I already mentioned, we wrote a couple of handbooks. The basic one is available in English, and it's available on our webpage. I don't know if Nova Gorica Library will put those presentations somewhere, if they will send them to you. The other one is only in Slovenian. It's a handbook specifically designed for public libraries, which we edited in cooperation with Nova Gorica and Novo Mesto public libraries. I think that all Slovenian public libraries should have gotten it, but maybe you didn't see it. So if you would be interested in it, you can always just write to us. I'm going to also be here all day. Thank you for your time.